we're so glad that you decided to come and be with us this morning on St. Patrick's Day here at Unity of Savannah, where everyone is loved and welcomed with open arms. We're going to give you a minute to say hello to your neighbor.
The Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God.
Let's be on fire.
I am on fire with the Spirit of God. I am on fire with the Spirit of God. I am on fire with the Spirit of God. I am on fire with the Spirit of God. I am on fire with the Spirit of God.
I tell you who's on fire. That dude right back there. You see him? That's Nate Saraceno right back there.
Slapping the bass.
Drop and roll. Now, you know Rochelle was down in Cuba in a drum workshop for a little while. So let's welcome her back. Does everybody know Miss Blessing? Let's sing it all together. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. Come on. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive,
I don't know about y'all, but I am alive with the Spirit of the Spirit I am band. Give them another round of applause. Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome to Unity of Savannah, a center of spiritual living where we recognize God by living fully. Well, hold on. Welcome, where we recognize God. I'm so alive with the Spirit. So recognize the Spirit. Where we recognize God as the life, love, and the ground of all being. Now we celebrate God by living fully, loving lavishly, and being all that we can be. Shake it off, Kev. Shake it off. Shake it off. Please join me in our vision and mission statement. Our vision statement, centered in God's love, we inspire universal transformation, one heart at a time. Our mission statement, we are an inclusive spiritual community serving others with love, joy, and truth. Today, bringing the message, we have our music medicine man, Kyle. He's going to give a wonderful message, so give him a round of applause. Riverdale's not here. But before we recognize our prayer chops, I want to bring up Tony. Tony's going to come up and tell us a little bit about congregations in service.
Keep that. I got two questions for you. Do you like to meet other little pieces of God? Yes. Do you like to help other little pieces of God? Yes. I got just the thing for you. Congregations and service. On the 30th and the 31st, we all get together. We go out and help community service organizations with little projects they need to be done. On Saturday, the 30th, at 8 o'clock, First Presbyterian, meet up there. We'll give you a little something to nibble on. We'll send you out, let you do your little projects. Then you come back in, and we'll give you barbecue lunch. And then on Sunday, we meet down in Bay, Israel at 12:30. We'll give you some pizza, and we'll send you out there to do whatever job you have chosen. You choose those jobs. When you get there, you look around. We try to make sure that everything is all equaled out as far as folks that came to help. So, if you want to be a part of that, come on down. Sign up. I like just to have numbers. I don't need, phone numbers or anything like that. I just need to have some numbers to give them. So that make sure we have enough to feed you with. All right.
Thank you so much, Tony, the way you serve our church and our community. And we thank for every one of you who's going to get out there and participate with the congregation service, as well as all the other ministries who serve our community. And if you're serving as a prayer chaplain today, would you please stand? Our prayer chaplains, we are here to pray lovingly with you, to pray affirmative prayer, and to share in confidence what is shared. So if you would like a affirmative prayer after the service, please see one of your prayer chaplains today. And now we light the Christ candle in the spirit and in the consciousness of imagination.
Good morning. I imagine new and positive possibilities for my life. Hebrew scriptures share this reminder: keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. When I imagine the unlimited possibilities available to me, I also consider the words Jesus shared. Whoever does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will come to pass, it will be done for him. Imagination in my consciousness triggers ideas, but it is through the loving energy of my heart that what I imagine becomes part of my life experience. Imagination continually opens doors of new possibilities, transforming today's vision into tomorrow's adventure. My heart-centered belief in my oneness with the divine power of creation ensures that my life will grow and expand in beautiful ways. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. And if you'll repeat with me. I imagine new and positive possibilities for my life.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Join with me now as we move into meditation. In Christ consciousness, as Christ consciousness, I speak to you, not to your mind, not to your brain, but to you. Hello and welcome. I invite you to come into your presence, into your Christ consciousness. Awake, alive, alert. To simply be aware as you relax. Let the body go, let the shoulders relax. Let the jaw relax. Let the eyes relax. Let your legs relax, especially behind the knees. Just let them relax. Just let go. And here we are, wide awake, alive, alert, present in this moment, here and now. The eternal here and now, the only thing that will ever be, the only time that there will ever be, right here, right now, this moment. The heart is beating itself. The body is breathing itself. All on its own. You literally have to do nothing. Let us just be aware of the body breathing itself. Don't breathe, just the body will just breathe. Let's just watch the breath in the stillness. also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'm ever gonna know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Did we come out of meditation? Did you guys come back? I wasn't sure if we came back. I wasn't sure or not. You're back. We're back. Okay, just checking. I'm Louis Armstrong. Not really. Wannabe. Once again, we want to welcome everybody here to Unity of Savannah today. My name is Kyle Shiver. I'm a licensed Unity teacher, and I am the music minister here at Unity of Savannah and spent several years as a prayer chaplain. So I think, is there anybody here that I don't know or that I've never met? Are you around? All right. So now you know who I am. It's a little warm in here. So Reverend Dale's birthday is in the next week, and he went up to Birmingham. It's tomorrow? Okay, well, he went to Birmingham today. He's at Unity of Birmingham, and then he's going to go visit with some friends of his where he used to live in Alabama and take a few days to rest and renew. So keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers. Man, I'm really hot. Are y'all warm? It's kind of hot. It's a little hot. Huh? Does he? John told me that would be too much. So I said no. I didn't get the striptease music. That's okay, I tried. It's my favorite shirt. I only wear it once a year. The pig gave me this shirt. We were on a float one morning before the parade, and our float was right beside the Piggly Wiggly float. And their pig was there, and I was like, the pig! And he gave me a shirt, so here you go. So I spoke with Reverend Dale the other day, and I had spoken with him last week, and I said, you know, it's Easter season, and we just went into Lent. Is there anything in particular that you want me to talk about? And he said, well, talk about Easter season and Lent. Consciousness, you know, talk about consciousness, talk about Easter, talk about the metaphysics of Easter and what Unity teaches and what we study here. And, you know, there's only so many different ways to say the one thing that we say here. And so I decided pretty early on in the week that I was going to be really vulnerable today. And I'm going to share with you the story of my own personal crucifixion, death, and rebirth. All right? So I'm going to share with you my own story. It happened to me when I was 17 years old. That's the year I was born. Again, the year that I was born again. Follow along. You're going to get this as I get along later in the story. So I'm 17 years old, and I found myself in a hospital. And the hospital had very big doors, very big wooden doors. And we had steel mesh on the windows, and we had stainless steel mirrors in the bathroom. And I had been taken there from another place. I had been in a substance abuse rehabilitation center, and some issues happened that weren't my fault, you know. It was unfortunate circumstances. So I was removed from there, and I was taken to this other place. And the situation was, if I could figure out how to get out of there, I was going to go to the county jail. So here I am in this hospital at 17 years old. And one morning, I was they have these different groups that they take you to where they teach you different things, occupational therapy, and all these different things. So I was talking with one of the doctors there, and I began to tell her, she was trying to talk to me, and so I decided I would try to talk to her. So I was trying to explain to her, my mind is driving me crazy. Okay? My mind is driving me crazy. I lay down at night, and it starts going, and it won't stop until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I finally fall asleep, and then I wake up the next day, and I'm tired, and I'm angry, and it does it all over again. And then I go get drunk, and somebody says something, or something happens, and I lose my temper, and I blow up, and I start doing stuff I really don't want to be doing, but I don't feel like I can control myself. It's like I'm watching it happen at that point. Like when I explode, it's too late now. I can't do anything about it now. All I can do is wait until it's over. It's kind of like the same as when I'm laying in bed and it starts going. There's no way I can stop it. I just have to lay there and let it do it until it's done, right? And so I'm explaining to this lady, my mind is driving me crazy. At the time, I didn't know the term monkey mind or busy mind or anything like that. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. She says, okay, so you're telling me that your mind is driving you crazy. I want to ask you a question. How do you know that your mind is driving you crazy? So I said, well, what do you mean, how do I know? I'm here. You know, things aren't good. I'm here. That's, you know. She said, no, not how do you know. Who is it that knows that your mind is driving you crazy? So you're saying, my mind is driving me crazy, my mind is driving me crazy, my mind is driving me crazy. You could be saying, my foot hurts, my foot hurts, my foot hurts. Or my back aches, or my back aches, or my back aches. But you're saying, my mind is driving me crazy. Who is it that knows? How do you know? Who is it? What part of you is it that knows? Because if you know, if you're aware of it, if you're being affected by it, then you're not it. You're watching it, right? And she introduced me to this idea, you are not your thoughts. You are not the mind. You can't be your mind because you're aware of your mind and you're watching your mind, so it can't be you, right?
Good point. Good point.
So we spoke about it for a while, and then I went back to my room, and I got to tell you, I was very perplexed because somebody asked me a question that I didn't know the answer to, and I know everything. Imagine the shock. So I decided to sort of experiment with this idea because I'm thinking, wow, I'm watching my mind, so I'm not my mind, so I can't be my mind. So I think I'm just going to sit for a while, a couple of days, and just kind of see what it does, and I'll watch it. You see, because up until this point, I was a mind. I was nothing but a mind. I was nothing but a series of thoughts, and I thought that I was those thoughts. Everything that my mind thought, I thought it was me. I thought I was bad, evil, everything my mind thought, I thought it was me. So now, I'm this separate entity, and I'm watching the mind. And there would be certain parts of the day where my mind would say, when you get out of here, you can have a couple of drinks. It's okay. These people have no idea what they're talking about. This is nuts. They need to let you go. You're fine. It was all just a series of unfortunate incidents that wound you up here, but it was a mistake. I don't belong here. So, but I'm just watching. So later on, a little later on in the day, boy, this sobriety thing is pretty good. They might be right here. They might be on to something. I may need to stop doing this. You know what? I'm never going to do it again. I'm going to get sober. And I'm going to make something out of my life, and everything is going to be great. So a few days goes by, and I'm watching my brain, and I'm watching what it does, and I'm watching my brain go way over here to this end, only to go a few minutes later way back over here to the other end. But something has changed. Something has changed. I am watching it. And I realized that for years I had been quitting every day and starting every day. I've been a puppet on a string. My mind would say, it'd be okay to just go do a little bit. It'll be fine. Sure, it'll be fine. 2 or 3 hours later, I promise I will never do this again. I quit. I stop. I swear I'll be good. It never do this. It won't happen again. Next day, it'll be all right. Surely, after what you did yesterday, you'll be better today. This is an endless cycle of mind. Nothing but mind. Just mind. But now here I am. I'm here. And folks, that was when I was reborn. Was when I became aware of me, of myself. That I am not my mind, that I am not my body. I have a mind, I have a brain, I have a body, but I'm not either one of them because I'm aware of them. I can actually decide what thoughts I want to put into my mind and what thoughts I don't want to spend time on in my mind, right? So my mind is sort of like a thing that I use, but my mind was using me because I never knew there was a me. It's my job, I think. It's probably the biggest thing that'll ever happen to me in my life was that moment that I was reborn, that I was born into consciousness. And this is what we call mindfulness. It's what we call in unity, we call it Christ consciousness. It's the watcher, the observer, and suddenly here I am. And what happens when I look at my brain and I see my brain going over there and I see my brain going over there, and I see my brain going over there and I see my brain going over there, and I sit and I think, well, what are my thoughts and what are my intentions? Where am I trying to go in life? And you know what? Neither one of those things that my brain was telling me was going to do anything for me. And so I went and found somebody who wasn't crazy, and I did what they said. And everything just started changing. Everything started turning in my life. It was wonderful. So you see, I left the consciousness, the mind, just being the mind, and I was reborn, and so that part of me died. Something has to go in order for something else to come in. Simultaneously. And when I say simultaneously, I mean simultaneously, and it doesn't end right there. It keeps on going. You see? Because it wasn't like I just walked out of there and I never had any problems again. It wasn't like I just walked out of there and I never had any vices again. It wasn't anything like that. I asked a lady, one of my teachers, I believe we were right here in this room and we were taking a class and we were going at it one day and we were really getting deep in there, and I said, I said, okay, look, does everybody have a thing? And she said, you mean does everybody have a vice? And I said, yeah. And she said, oh, yeah. As soon as you get rid of one, you'll get a new one. But you know, when I first started drinking, folks, drinking was good. It was fine. It made me feel better. It made me more sociable. It made me feel better. It made everything better. It was 2-3 years later, everything was a wreck because I don't drink just a little bit. I don't drink moderately very well. These vices that we come up with. So when I got rid of drinking, I got new vices. And everything was great. Now you should see my coffee stash in my pantry. It's impressive. I'm telling you. I walked in there the other day and I looked at it and I can't do anything but laugh. I can't do anything but laugh. Because I buy a lot of coffee and all my friends give me coffee and I just, Christmas it's just like, oh my God, I never have to buy coffee again if I don't want to. I was at this Kroger the other day buying I had gone to the coffee aisle and gotten a big bag of coffee, and then I took it over to Kroger and had them ring it up and give me a large. I buy coffee while I'm buying coffee. So I share with you this personal story about a really difficult time in my life. It's probably one of the, if not the most awful time in my life, but at the same time, simultaneously, without my knowing it, it was the best time of my life. You understand? See, something was dying, something was hurting, something was being exposed, something else was birthing, something else was being born, new ideas, new possibilities, all at the same time. It happened simultaneously. And it's a death, and it's a rebirth. It's a story of resurrection. See, we crucify ourselves. We go through this crucifix. I got news for you. Jesus did not have to get up on nobody's cross. You hear me? The guy that can change water into wine, the guy that can heal leprosy, the guy that can heal your eyesight, the guy can work all these famous miracles. Are you telling me that there's any group of men anywhere that can put him on a cross if he don't want to be there? You ever thought about that? It ain't like he's got to be up there, people. It's not like you're going to make him go if he don't want to go. Is it? No. No. Not in any way. I mean, you don't even want to discuss, my brain, oh man. You don't even want to go. I read the Bible and I'm like, oh, come on, dude, you don't have to be on the cross. I mean, how are you going to tell me that? You're the man. You can do anything. You're the miracle man. You're the healer. You don't have to be on the cross if you don't want to be. He was up there. And he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They don't understand that they are me and I am them. They have no idea what they're doing. And then after they put him in his tomb, he comes out. He's resurrected. And I'm not one of those people that sits around trying to investigate whether Jesus lived and whether all this stuff really happened or not. The whole Bible is in parable, and the stories are parables, and I get what they're trying to say. They're just saying you're going to be dying a lot here, and you're going to be rebirthing a lot here. That's what we do here. That's the whole thing this is. Everything. The leaves on the trees, the grass on the tree, the beautiful azaleas, our bodies, people that come into our lives, different times of our lives, everything is just this constant dying and rebirthing, dying and rebirthing, coming and going. We receive in accordance to what we give, simultaneously as it happens. We are forgiven as we forgive. As you forgive, so shall ye be forgiven. It isn't like you forgive and then I'll forgive you. It's as you are forgiving, you will be forgiving. And I don't see it. I can't see it. It's beyond the mind. It's beyond the mind. And that's what metaphysics is. It's beyond the mind. It's beyond the body. It's beyond You see, I know what I see ain't what I'm looking at. It's not what I see. I know that. I know that. Because this part of me, you see, this part of me that's aware of the body, the part of me that's aware of the mind, it doesn't really exist. I mean, if you dissect, when I die and they dissect my body, they're not going to pull out a piece and go, this is Kyle. Because there's a kidneys and liver and all that other kind of stuff, but there's no piece in there that's called Kyle. It isn't there. And when I die, the life will be gone out of my body. I won't be there anymore. I'll be somewhere else. You see, there isn't really a Kyle. I'm just an illusion. Before you today. So then I come into this understanding that I am life. Life is me. Life expresses through me. Life speaks through me. Life is happening through me. And it doesn't have a face or a color or a language. It doesn't have a sexual preference. It doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just life. It's energy. And if that's what I am, that's what you have to be too. Now, when I talk this stuff, I want you to know that there are some people in the world who are born conscious and awake, and they know that they're not their minds, and they're way ahead of me. And so I start talking to this stuff to them, and they're kind of like, yeah. Yeah, you know. When they told me to sit up and pay attention in school, I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So it was a while before I woke up into consciousness. And that was only the beginning of my waking up in consciousness. I'm still today waking up in consciousness. Truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it will bear much fruit. Amen. Amen. I can't tell you how alone I was when I was only a mind. But after that died in the rebirth, now I bore much fruit. Bears much fruit.
Good fruit too.
Good fruit too. Thank you. And that is why we come together here at Unity, because we are in the process of awakening consciousness. Do you have any idea? I've stood in front of so many rooms full of people with this many people in it, some rooms with even more people in it, and I will say, how many of you feel like prayer is working the way you want it to in your life? And nobody raises their hand. Or very few people raise their hand. It's because they think I'm asking them, how many of you are getting what you want when you want it the way you want it? Ain't nobody going to raise their hand. But isn't that the way we were taught to pray? That's the way I was taught to pray in traditional Christian churches. This relationship of God as the Father, who I'm asking and begging and bartering with, and all this other, this idea of separation, it's moving into this idea of oneness. And that's what Jesus brought. Consciousness, different states of consciousness, the Bible shows you them all. Archaic, tribal, warrior consciousness, oneness consciousness, holistic consciousness, all in there. You read the Old Testament, and then you move over into the New Testament, it's like you're in a whole new world. You know, different people wrote the Bible at different times over a very long period of time. But notice we went from archaic, tribal, warrior into oneness and holistic. You know, we moved because Jesus came at us from a totally different direction. And Jesus said, you are just like I am. I mean, Jesus told his disciples the same exact thing that I'm telling you. You're the same thing I am. There isn't anything in me that you don't have. You're it. I'm it. In consciousness, we're it together. And what happens when we wake up in consciousness together is we understand that this is not all about me, because there isn't a me. And so what is it all about? It's all about you. And so it turns into this idea of service. It turns into not having this God that I'm constantly begging and pleading and bargaining with, into, okay, what can I give? What can I do? How can I be of service? How does life want to express itself through me? When I had my big music thing, awakening, which happened about 8 years after this one, the first thing I said was, music is me. Music is me. Oh my God, music is me. It just happens to me. It just comes into my head and I know how to do it. I'm not a musician. You understand that? Am I making sense? Yes. I'm not a musician. I am not music. Music comes to me. I'm not it. It comes through me. And I just happen to be attuned to it. It's different, you know? Life comes to you. It comes through you. It expresses through you. It tells you how it wants to express through you, because you see something and you're intrigued with it. It catches your eye and you love it. That's how life is wanting to express through you. You are life and I am life. There's a lot of different people in the world, a lot of different political things going on right now. Every one of them is life. Every person is life. The two people who oppose themselves the most, they're just the same exact thing. They're on the same exact pole. They're life, consciousness. There was a period in my life when I would say that I was asleep. I wasn't even born yet. I wasn't awake. I was at a lower consciousness than what I think I'm at today. And I think that a year from now, or 6 months from now, or maybe even 2 or 3 days from now, I'll be at a higher consciousness than I'm at right now. And I think other people who I see in the news or who I see in my life who are at lower states of consciousness, so will they. But we're going to have all these people in all these different states of consciousness all around us. But the one thing that I know about consciousness is that you open the box and it comes out. Okay? So I'm trying to give you a visual here. So you open the box and it comes out and it spreads. But there's a time when it's here. Follow? There's a time when it's here. Right? You follow? This is expanding. We're expanding. We're energy. We're life. We're expanding. We're growing. God is not like Santa Claus anymore. God used to be a lot like Santa Claus. To me. Or that's how I felt like I was dealing with. So we're moving out of that now. We're moving into the new consciousness. God is here there isn't anything that isn't God. It's expressing itself through us as life and as service. Tony was talking to us about the congregations and service. You know, one of my favorite people, there's so many wonderful things going on. I love to see Jimmy Carter. I love to see that guy. I don't care what you think about Jimmy Carter. His actions and all the stuff that he's done in his lifetime speak for themselves. Who do you like? Who do you like? Second Harvest here in Savannah, the Second Harvest Food Bank here in Savannah, they did amazing. This is service. You know, the Dalai Lama, Reverend Dale, he comes and shares his heart with us every Sunday. He does service. I mean, it's all about service is what it is really about. Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa. Yeah. MLK, absolutely. We just had MLK Day. We played in the celebratory concert, and it was amazing. I mean, there are people doing good things everywhere. Have you seen the hashtag trash tag? Have you guys seen that? Nobody in the early service had seen it, and I thought maybe I was talking Greek. You guys haven't seen it either? Some of you have seen it? Somebody went and they took a picture of a place where there was a bunch of trash, and then they picked up all the trash, and then they took a picture of it. They stuck the pictures together before and after, and they put hashtag trash tag, and it caught on, and people are doing it all over the world. They just started the International Ocean Cleanup. Have you guys seen that? You know, that big net, and they're going through I mean, you know, life is good. This is a wonderful world. There's all kinds of consciousness that is existing all at the same time, but our job is to be of service, to allow life to express itself through us, as us, in Christ consciousness. And we're here to support you. That's what Unity of Savannah is here to do, is to support one another as we awaken in consciousness. That's what we do. So I want to thank you all. I thought we were going to have a party. And ask you to invite you to all join together with me in prayer. We pray affirmatively that we are awake, alert, alive, present. We feel so grateful that we're awake in consciousness. We have these bodies. We have these minds. We have everything we need for life to express itself through us. It's springtime. All the flowers are blooming everywhere. We see it, life expressing itself everywhere. We see this process of dying and being reborn in everything. We see it in ourselves. We see it in our consciousness. We're grateful for it. We understand that what this means is there's not really any good and not really any bad. It's all life. You see. That the pain, that the struggle, the crying, the desperation, the dying is necessary for the life, for the laughter, for the love. We know we're expanding consciousness. And we know that no matter what is going on in our lives, if we're struggling in awakened, heightened conscious, we know it's okay. We know what comes after the struggle, the victory. We know it's a cycle. We know that as we forgive, we are forgiven. We know that as we give, we shall receive. We know that we are just a vessel for this life to express with, as, through. And so our hearts beaming with it, just beaming out. Just feel it beaming out, the life, energy. And we're grateful. And we say amen. Thank you. And now we shall perform a number for you. Floor's a wooden floor, no matter where it's at. The barroom or some backwoods church, don't worry none about that. Don't let it get you down. It happens to us all. Don't let it get you down. You can't walk until you fall. But I got that get down glory. Got that get down glory. Got that get down glory. Got to get down glory. Well, a promise is a promise. No matter who it's to. You make your deal, you make your deal, and it all comes down to you. Don't let it get you down. It happens to us all. Don't let it get you down. You can't walk until you fall. But I got that get down glory. Got that get down glory. I got that get down glory. Wish you knew you'd find out for yourself. She knew your ears were closed. Don't let it get you down. It happens to us all. Don't let it get you down. It won't be till it falls.
Ladies and gentlemen, Georgia Kyle Shiver and the Spirit I Am Band. Awesome, awesome. I don't know about you, but the message is exactly what I needed to hear today. And as we celebrate the Lenten season, I want to invite you to revisit your own resurrection story so we all can eliminate negative thinking and embrace new thought. Give Georgia Kyle Shiver a hand again for the message. Awesome. Please join me in affirming our unity principles. There is only one power, one presence in our lives and in the universe, God. We are the Christ of God in expression. Thoughts plus feeling equals outcome. There is power in affirmative prayer and meditation. We must live the truth we know. And one of the ways we live the truth we know is releasing and putting and planting a seed and placing things into circulation. In this case, we're talking about financial substance, which is love. So as you prepared to receive, our usher's going to come up. Well, our usher's going to collect your love offering, and then we're going to pray over it.
So grateful in this moment right now. I am thankful, so grateful right here, right now. I am thankful, so
we affirm the oneness, the allness, the isness. And as we come together in this collective consciousness, we recognize the power of releasing and receiving. We recognize the power of giving. We recognize the power of sowing seeds unto the earth. And we affirm today that these seeds of love will germinate so beautifully. Germinate with love, with peace, with joy. And it all will come back with love. Return to us in a cycle that continues to expand and expand and expand, till there is no dark places, no dark thoughts in our minds, in this congregation, and on this planet. So in that consciousness, let us affirm our offertory blessings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. I am grateful. Amen, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thankful, so grateful. Thank you. This moment right now. So now, I want to take this opportunity to recognize any first-time visitors. So if you are first-time visitors, we have a packet for you. We want to recognize you. We want to shine love upon you. So any first-time visitors? All right. First-time visitors. So let's give our first-time visitors our love. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the life shining as you. We want to let you know, please take time to visit our bookstore. We have a gift for you, and we have wonderful, wonderful things there. And please join us for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall next door. At this time, we want to recognize our beautiful, shining lights, our children.
This little light of mine,
Oh,
I'm gonna let it shine.
I'm going to let it.
This little light of mine,
Oh,
I'm gonna let it shine.
I'm going to let it.
This little light of mine,
Oh,
I'm gonna let it shine.
let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right. Let us bless our children with our blessing. God loves you. Christ in you. And now we're going to receive from them. Say it, go ahead.
I'm scared.
I'm sorry.
God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. I see the Christ in you.
Thank you so much. You're so beautiful, don't you agree? All right, let's join together in our song and our benediction.
On earth and let it begin. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are,